Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is January 15th, and today's episode is going to cover a protocol update and bi-weekly update. We're going to do a recap and summary of those. We're going to talk about a Saturn 1 progress update that got teased by Langers. After that, we're going to talk about some administrative stuff, some statistical stuff on the ETH side, and on the Ethereum side, we have some news, but in the other news, we're going to talk some political stuff. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, so it's rewards night. In about 9 hours, we'll have a new rewards period starting. So the RPL ratio got locked in, and this month it got locked in at 0.00317. I think that's a low. I'm not exactly sure if that is a low or not, but that is really low. RPL got smacked down this week along with a lot of other cryptos based on the jobs data that came in and the expectations of rate cuts into the coming year. So that ratio is really low, but hey, it's rewards night. Everyone gets RPL this time, and you'll be getting your ETH staking rewards as well. So I guess that's something. Okay, next we have an update from Mav, and he says, "Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Our community call is starting soon." So that's in 19 hours from when I'm recording. And it's with Hi, and Hi are a borrowing protocol where you can deposit your RETH and get their Hi token and their stablecoin. It's kind of like Gravatar, I guess. Anyway, they said that they have designed a dope POAP for it, so make sure you download the POAP Home app and join the call if you want to claim. Then there's a link to information about that. Then there's a bi-weekly update. We're going to come back to that next. Then it says the team has started booking for ETH Denver. Please indicate if you are attending or considering attending so we can gauge numbers for a fun community event. There won't be a booth this time, sadly, which is a real disappointment. Because that was like the center of like Rocket Pool life at ETH Denver. Without that being there this year, I don't know how that's going to kind of cohere. But anyway, then there's news of the DAO is hiring. We're going to talk about that later as well. And the GMC is seeking feedback via initial off-chain poll regarding adjusting the oDAO's RPL reward share. So we're going to talk about that as well. So there's a lot covered in the protocol update that's actually going to go into the episode today. So that's a little bit of a teaser for you all. But let's talk about the bi-weekly update, and that's here. So our ETH supply went down 1%. We have active mini pool count increased 0.6%, and node operator count increased. That's of course a number that always goes up only and doesn't go down. Then with the smart node, we have community member script significantly reduces smart node setup time. Always check scripts before running them. We covered that in Rocket Fuel, where you can now launch the smart node within a couple of minutes. With R&D, the team returns from holidays. Langer shared an R&D update with Ken on the recent community call. You can watch the link to that. With governance, there was a discussion about proposed GMC membership funding update, and then there's some DAO stuff that we talked about in Rocket Fuel before. Hiring for the STAR initiative, we're going to cover that again. POT was created to fund some remaining on-chain voting initializations and meet quorum, so that was done by Halooo. We covered that as well. GMC opened around 21 of the grants, and then the latest GMC reporting is available with the Treasury report. IMC was awarded voting allocation from a DeFi protocol, that's Hermes Omnichain, sorry. RETH was live on Euler. Media marketing, there's incentivized leverage campaign starting on OP, that's with Contango. And then a new Rocket Pool DeFi integration explorer launched. Rocket Pool was included in ETH Staker self-assessment widget, and RPL has new listings, and that was the Rocket Pool intern sharing that information on Twitter. And myself, Jasper and Pat, we did a 2024 recap and 2025 predictions podcast, and that was on the weekly orbit with Pat. So thank you, Mav, for putting together that bi-weekly update. Let's move on from there now to some other Rocket Pool news. And the first thing we're going to start here with is this tease that came from Langers. So Blue AVM says, will there be a forum post related to quarterly roadmap update for November, December and January? Mav, last update was in October 2024, And then there's a salute emoji, which is Mav saying, I will pass that along to the team pretty much. And this is also, is there any discussion on deploying the January 2025 DevNet 1 of Saturn? And that was in the previous timeline post that came out. And Langer said, yes, there will be a quarterly update for November, December, and January. It's on my list for next week. I'll have put it out by the end of the month. And he says DevNet 1 is in progress and still targeting this month for release. So that is actually really exciting. It seems like DevNet 1 might be like a closed beta by invite only, but I'm not certain about that. But as soon as I have more information on that, of course, I will give you that information. I don't think it's going to be a public DevNet, but yeah, as I get that information, I'll give it that more to you. But yeah, it looks like according to the timeline that the team put out, a few months ago, and they're still on track for Saturn 1 launching in July. That would be extremely exciting. I hope it's not delayed, but yeah, with the fact that DevNet 1 is coming out in January, which is what the target was, hopefully all that goes smoothly. Then DevNet 2 in March, DevNet 3 in April, DevNet 4 in May, then the public testnet in June, and then launch in July of Saturn 1. And as Langer's talked about at DevCon, I believe, in the Staking Summit conference, he said that Saturn 2 should be here by the end of 2025, which of course is extremely bullish. So that is really exciting to see. Okay, we got an update with the GMC split proposal that Schifrin has been pushing the information for. So he has an update here saying, given the discussion so far, I believe we're ready to proceed to a vote and continue the initiative that Halooo started over on On-Chain Vote, recurring spends for committee budgets. Schifrin says to implement the proposed changes, the most effective governance process would involve sequential on-chain votes. First, a yes-no vote on revising the oDAO split, followed by a yes-no vote on revising the GMC split. It says Dr. Doofus initially proposed revising the oDAO splits to address member fatigue, as outlined here. And then there's a forum post. It says the current proposal revises the oDAO split to 2.5%. from 1.5%, so it's a 66% increase. And it says the current proposal revises the oDAO split by adjusting the PDAO share. So the PDAO, that's the treasury share, will not just the treasury, the whole of the IMC and GMC and the treasury. So they currently get 28.5%, and that will change to 27.5% instead. Of this vote, we have 100% of people who have voted so far, that's 9 people, saying that they support moving to an on-chain vote, and there's no one who proposes not moving to that. Lewis said, I support this, but with the caveat that we should adjust the on-chain quorum to 15% ahead of this. And the Val then was providing context about Pateris's comments about having smaller management committees. Okay, going back to the Discord here, we actually got a nice little update from Halooo, and this was some more rocket scrape data. And this first chart here shows the the first chart here shows the number of active days in the calendar year 2024 in the Rocket Pool Discord. And we had Rocket Watch on number 1 with 366, and RPL Bot on joint number 1 with 366. So 2024 was a leap year. There were 366 days. Then number 3, but number 1 out of the actual humans, I'm there with number 1 on 365 days. Then there's a person who I don't know who that is with 365 days. Then Ramana with 364 days. Lee with 363 days. Sneaky Ninja Guy with 362 days. Alpha with 362 days. Kron with 359 days. And then Bossy, Patches, Val, Jasper, Pateris, Halooo, Meg, Yoakum, Invis, Steely, Wick, Blue AVM, and we had Not You, Ludi, and then Jenum and Dukey. So to get into the top 25, you have to be active active 338 days out of the 366. And I was in the Discord every day except one day, which is a real shame. I think that was when I was traveling during the summer. Horrible. Anyway, Halooo said that his bans messed him up and he missed out on a lot of days that he was probably in the Discord but didn't get counted because of his messages getting erased. So he was probably there almost every day too, if not every day. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. So the title is number of days with at least one message in 2024. Next one here is longest active rocket pool message streaks. So this is all time. So this is people who are currently on the long streak. So I am number one of the humans with 282 days. Yeah, that's nice. Then after that, it's Val with 273 days. And Patches was actually one behind me, but Patches is not behind me anymore, so he must have missed a day recently. And then longest all-time message streaks, Patches is number one on that with 756 days. And I am number 15 with 328 days. So it turns out that basically in the last 700 days or so, I missed one day, which is that one day in 2024. Otherwise, I would have had like a nearly 700-day streak. So I would have been coming for that all-time record. But as it stands, I am pretty much a year away from that all-time record. But I can beat that. That's easy. That's an easy target. So as long as I don't miss a day, then I'm coming for Patches' number one spot. But yeah, that's really exciting. So I said, where did Patches go? And he says, mind your goddamn business, whack. So yeah, I will do that. Okay, reminder that we have a job listing for the GMC. This is the overseer position. This is $1,000 per month over the course for 8 months and potentially longer if you do it well. This was the person who will be administrating the STAR initiative. So if you are interested in doing this, read the post that is linked below. I covered this on Rocket Fuel a few days ago. The deadline for this is January 19th. So please keep that in mind. And here it looks like Brenda wants to reply and apply for the job. So yeah, get applying and submit your applications to Chevron. Okay, we have a staking update here, and this is news from Lodestar, and they're saying, hey Lodestar users, we've got our first minor release out for 2025. We recommend all users update to Lodestar 1.25.0 when convenient, as it comes with some security updates and a default gas limit set to 36 million gas as agreed upon as a safe limit for the network. And then there's a full change log here. You can see the information of what's in there, and there's just some maintenance updates and some refactoring. But yeah, that's 1.25.0 if you are a Lodestar user. Okay, there's been some drama in Ethereum land with Sony launching its layer 2, and on day one, a bunch of degens launched meme coins on there, and the meme coins had tickers that were the same name as PlayStation products and Sony copyright products. So Sony blocked them. So here there's things saying contract addresses on this list will have their activities restricted on Sonium, including RPC level blocks, limited visibilities on Blocks Explorer, and excluded from wallets. So this is quite intense. Here, Cow says Sonium rugged users in $100,000 of ETH on launch day. Never seen anything like it. Want to be a permissioned chain? Fine. Instead of whitelisting developers, they chose to instead freeze contracts, effectively rugging users. Amazing launch. So there was a bunch of criticism about this, and people were quite upset about it. However, it ended up being a really interesting experience because here, Donna says that since I've seen a lot of bad takes regarding L2s and their censorship resistance, here's how I bypassed Sonium sequencer and bought a banned token with a forced transaction through layer 1. So he says this is the token that was banned, and the ticker was, I don't know. And it says this token is banned and censored by Sonium sequencer. And it says, first of all, I tried to buy the IBO token, a trademark name for a robotic puppy developed by Sony, with the standard flow on DYOR swap DEX. The token immediately appears to be fully censored by the sequencer as it doesn't accept any transaction referencing it. So even the Explorer UI seems to ban the token page. Check yourself. And then there's a link to their scan, their block explorer, and it shows that it's forbidden. And it says, fortunately, Sonium is a standard OP stack chain, meaning that it implements a forced transaction mechanism on layer 1 to bypass sequencer censorship. So let's try to use it. So here it says, I've carefully crafted the call data to call the swap on the exchange on the L2 with the appropriate swap amount, token address, and deadline. In particular, I'm trying to buy at least 102.39 ICO tokens with ETH. It says, then I go to Etherscan on layer 1 on their Optimism portal contract used to send L1 to L2 messages and craft a deposit transaction with such call data. I want the basically to say that they want to buy that token. And then wait a couple of minutes and the L2 transaction magically appears. You can see the buy on deck screener as it shows many people are doing the same. So yes, L2s are censorship resistant as they're supposed to be. Thanks for playing. So this is actually a really, really, really interesting system here. So what's happened is Sony are saying that, you can't do this. We're blocking at the sequence level. However, what you can do is by interacting with the contracts directly, you can use the L1 to sequence that instead and put it into the data for Sonium. So there's ways around it, basically. There's some interesting takes here. So here, Gautam says, Sony's L2 just showed us something wild about OP Stack censorship resistance. Their attempt to block unapproved tokens spectacularly backfired in less than 24 hours after launch. Here's exactly how it went down. So he says the drama started, their L2s, their sequencer started blocking stuff. It says the impact was immediate. Early token traders got absolutely wrecked when Sony started blocking transactions. 5K position turned to dust. Then something beautiful happened. Donna showed how you can bypass it. And here's why this matters. The OP Stack design forces every L2 to inherit Ethereum security guarantees. Sony can try to censor the RPC level, but they can't stop users from forcing transactions through layer 1. And here's why this matters. The OP Stack design forces every L2 to inherit Ethereum security guarantees. Sony can try to censor, but they can't stop users from forcing transactions through. The best part, this isn't a hack or an exploit. This is literally how OP Stack was designed to work. Every L2 built on it, including polynomial phi, inherits the same censorship resistance. So this is absolutely awesome. Lesson is clear: when building on OP Stack, you can't escape Ethereum's core properties. Do other L2 stacks allow for this? I'm curious to know. Sony just helped to prove it. And then we actually had a take from Vitalik here. It says the Sonium situation is good live demonstration of how launching Ethereum L2 is great for business and users. Businesses can make very fine-grained choices around how much they control versus how much they give to their users. But whenever rules they choose, that's what the rules are. Everything is on-chain, transparent, and auditable by third parties. You can make very good closed system where there's no escape hatch, and where the operator can edit some state root, and then users will know exactly what they're getting into, and L2B and armies of independent internet sleuths will help them. Or you can make the system fully open. It says you can make a system where users know they can send a transaction on the L2 if they need to, but there's a large speed bump. The sequencer can throttle but not censor. This is effectively what Sony has done. This is a free market at play. The main thing we need to watch for as an ecosystem to ensure that critical mass of financial activity happens in fully open environments. Enough tools are available for users to understand the properties of the on-chain environments they are spending their time in. So yeah, great stuff. This just shows that, the L2s, they can have certain properties built in, and that is absolutely fine. Users will know that and they will choose to interact with that L2 or not. That's their choice then. And that's the beauty of Ethereum, is that eventually everything goes back to Ethereum, which means you can also go back to Ethereum as well. And that's, the layer 1. Okay, let's move on to some other news now, and we're going to get a bit political here for a second. So this is Donald Trump's team putting out signs here saying that Trump's SEC to overhaul crypto policy. It may freeze enforcement policies. So it says Trump's SEC reviewing some crypto enforcement cases pending in the courts. So there's cases against Coinbase, there's cases against Uniswap, there's cases against Kraken, I believe. There's a whole bunch of open cases right now, and Consensus as well, I think. There's a whole bunch of open cases right now, and it looks like the ones that can be withdrawn will be withdrawn, and the ones that are already at the court will likely be settled for some nominal amount, and they'll all kind of just go away. That's my understanding. And here it says the SEC may freeze litigation that does not involve allegations of fraud. So if there's fraud involved, then I guess those will carry on. So yeah, don't commit fraud. But if it's about securities laws and all that kind of stuff, then potentially your court case will be going away, which is extremely bullish. And another thing that's extremely bullish here, ICO Beast says the literal leader of the free world in 6 days is selling his BTC for ETH, and you still aren't convinced he's going to pump the absolute shit out of this? Nah, man. So this is just relating to negative sentiment, of course, as always, around ETH and its price action vis-a-vis Bitcoin and the altcoin market. And the idea here that ICO Beast is sharing is that Donald Trump his company, World Liberty Financial, is literally swapping their BTC into ETH, and they are going long ETH. So yeah, why are you not ETH? And the comment I made about this in reply to someone else is there's nothing like a little bit of trading on insider knowledge, because you know what's going to come next. And finally, to end the episode, this is Cynthia Lummis, who is a senator in the US, in the Senate. And she says, just a little reminder, as things are about to get crazy, emotions and excitement can run high. Don't send Bitcoin or crypto to some random wallet address or QR code, as ever do your own research beforehand. So this is a senator of the US government saying that things are going to get crazy in crypto. She, of course, is one of the people who wrote the Bitcoin Reserve bill that she wants to get turned into law. She clarifies by saying, this blew up, but don't take it out of context. I'm not Nostradamus. It's just a public service announcement as we head into a new administration in the US that will unleash American innovation. I've never been more bullish on America. As always, think for yourselves. So that's something to keep in mind here. But yeah, it looks like the US government is getting ready to pump crypto, which I'll take. Anyway, on that note, thanks everyone for watching, listening, and being part of the Rockyfield community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow I also have a special episode of Takeoff into DeFi coming up, so keep your eyes open for that one. Bye.